Hey, Doug.
What's up, fellas?
Hey.
DP, by the way, good to see you back in the mothership in the commercial. That is awesome. That's so amazing. It's such good work by you.
Thank you, Doug.
And the hair looks spectacular.
Thank you.
Really, really good. I don't know.
Now,
I know most of that's natural, but the makeup artist, and that is, I need to get one of those.
Now, this is how you start out a phone call. All right, now lower the boom on me, Doug.
No, it's not on you. It's on Paulie's lukewarm take with all these running backs going the first round. Look around the league, and look, for example, at the Atlanta Falcons. Right? They have two running backs. Tevin Coleman's been outstanding when he's been healthy. They have two running backs.
Mm-hmm.
Neither were taken in the first couple of rounds. And, you go back last year in the draft, and everybody in the state of Georgia wanted them to take Todd Gurley. Well, what would you rather have? Vic Beasley, who gives them a pass rusher, or Todd Gurley, a singular running back? You'd rather have multiple options there. I think there can be fewer and fewer. As good as Ezekiel Elliott has been, and he's been spectacular, like better than advertised, the fact is that, I kind of think you could put anybody behind that Dallas Cowboys offensive line and still have a very, very productive running game. And at that 10th, at where they drafted, they could have had Jalen Ramsey, and what that team's lacking is a shutdown corner. So I think the opposite is true. I think that the devaluation of the running back is just beginning, and it's going to continue on.
Would the Cowboys be just as good? That's throwing water on your warm take.
Yeah, it was.
Would the Cowboys be just as good or better if they had Jalen Ramsey instead of Ezekiel Elliott?
Probably. It's hard. Look, the point that you made, which is the best one, is Ezekiel. It's a 3-down back, and he's as good in pass protection. That's what all the football guys are like, dude. College kids usually come out and they think it's all about what you do when you get the football. It's a lot like basketball players who all they think about is, your value is what you do when you have the basketball. And the truth is, if you can't protect the quarterback, if you can't play on third down, you don't have the same value.
Paulie, do you want to respond to Doug Gotlieb?
I think Doug has a great point. I think it's going to be more of a run on offensive linemen this year. But I'm talking later in the first round because McCaffrey won't go to the second.
Does Dalvin Cook go top 10?
Yes, no doubt.
No, and I think he's great, but I'd say no. And then Paulie, you stepped into a better warm take. The two best teams, maybe in football right now, are the Raiders and the Cowboys. And what do they have in common? They both have great offensive lines. And then, and going back to DP, you were asking why are quarterbacks busts, and the answer is this: if a quarterback can't play, you see him with a clipboard and a hat on. If a left tackle can't play, he moves over to right guard or right tackle. You can still get some sort of value. If a cornerback can't play, you play him at maybe nickel corner or you make him do a safety. They still have some sort of value, and you don't see them like you see a quarterback who stinks.
Yeah, but we also, if you take a running back high or a wide receiver up high, they don't get nearly the criticism if you take a quarterback up high. So we give too much credit to the quarterback, too much blame to the quarterback, but the GMs are the ones, this is their job.
I know.
And we never say, man, that GM is a bust because look at what he did. It's that quarterback is a bust, not the team that drafted him. I mean, Dak Prescott drops to the 4th round, Doug. How does that happen? If everybody does their work.
You watch college, and Paulie, you guys watch college football. Like, I watch Mississippi State. I love Dak Prescott, but he wasn't that accurate. Like, nobody, and what would Dak Prescott look like if he played with a regular offensive line? Well, he didn't have all day to throw. He didn't have Des Bryant. He didn't have Ezekiel Elliott. And he didn't have, one of the great tight ends we've had in football. So it's a really hard metric to measure out. Like, if you put him behind the Seahawks offensive line, would he be anywhere near as productive as Russell Wilson has been? And the answer is no. Russell Wilson's back there running for his life. So it's a hard one. Here's one last thing.
Okay.
You were talking college football.
Yeah.
And here's the irony to it. Michigan gets a ton of credit for beating Colorado, right? That's a signature out-of-conference win.
Yeah.
Right? And Washington gets rightfully punished because their out-of-conference strength of schedule was 117 out of 118. So 118 teams, they played the 117th strongest out-of-conference schedule, right? They scheduled Rutgers. But when that game was scheduled, Rutgers was good. And when the Colorado game was scheduled for Michigan, Colorado was essentially Rutgers of the Pac-12. They were terrible for a decade.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just weird that we reward like, oh, well, they went out and they played somebody out of the league. Like, they weren't trying to. They used to play Notre Dame. Now they don't. And the crazy thing is, had they played Notre Dame this year, that wouldn't have been a good win. That would have been a bad strength of schedule win.
Man, don't use all of your content. Save it for your show.
My show's not as good as yours, not as popular as yours. My hair doesn't look as good as yours. You're twice my age and your hair is better. That's not fair.
I appreciate that. Who's got a better jumper?
Mine's pretty good. You specialize in the low ceiling of the man cave.
Yeah, okay.
In a real gym. And look, I'm 20 minutes down the road from you. I got a real gym. I got a little court outside my house. We can go anytime you want to show me that wet jump shot out in the real elements or in a real gym. You're welcome.
I don't do road trips, man. Everything's a home court advantage, Doug. Thanks for calling in, Doug.
Later, DP.
All right. That's Doug Gotlieb.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.